Thank you very much. And welcome everyone to OIG Roundtable number 17. Today is March 12th, and we are meeting once again. Our agenda today is mainly around our formalities, the review process, guidelines, revisiting the guild reports and how to do it better in the future. Also, we prepared some kind of marketing survey form to enable a better and deeper discussion on product and ecosystem development as a WAX blockchain, as a whole blockchain. And then we will also slightly touch the WAX-RFP system, which we are currently trying to kick off. So where do we start? Of course, Kefa and Josep, when you're here and you have additions, just speak up, no need to raise hands. All right. Let's get into it. As you surely know, we are currently conducting technical evaluations. Snapshot was last Sunday, 2 days ago. We are planning to release it anytime between today, 18 UTC, and tomorrow, 18 UTC. So once the technical evaluation is concluded, we will immediately do the voting based on your product sheet. I'm pulling up an example here. The total score for this voting, which is happening next, will be composed of your 5.5 evaluation, product evaluation, contribution evaluation, and your 5.6 T1 technical evaluation. Then going back to the 5.6 guidelines, we are doing the contributions evaluations at the moment. The appeal process has started 3 days ago and is lasting until tomorrow. And right after that, on March 15th, midnight, we will do another voting, which will then be your 5.6 T1 evaluation and your 5.6 contributions evaluation. So this time around, we have this overlap, which will result in 2 votings happening this week. Right, speaking of an example guild, and I'm pulling up Hive, which I was just reviewing now. The structure has slightly changed. We have a total score table at the top that you already know. Then we are working on just the appearance of the requirements, putting them into a table that is much more easy to understand. Right after that, we have a new module on the guilds pages, which is a table of contributions. We previously had 2 tables, one product sheet and one ecosystem development sheet. We merged those both into a single database. And this database too, and this database is now global across all guilds. So we now have a nice place inside this contributions page, which has some filters and sorting capabilities, but act as a good entry to look out for projects, what has been built, what should I build next, what APIs and other marketing initiatives are we driving at the moment, what onboarding projects do we have at the moment, which validation tools do we have in the network. So all those contributions tables from the different guilds have now been merged into a global database. And once the contributions evaluation is concluded on the 15th, we will grant you access to this page so that you can look around and better find the products and projects built by the guilds. I will get into a point that has been asked in the past 2 days, and it's those 3 columns here: the score, the decay rate, and the decay target. Not talking of individual projects, but the concept. A score is assigned to a product, which we typically assign on the first evaluation of a project. But while doing that, we also assign a decay target. So we often credit a score for the initial release of a product, and usually also announce a decay target directly with it. So we think that a newly released product, which often brings hype and draws in users, deserves a good score. But crypto is fast-paced, and products sometimes projects lose their drives or lack some updates. And that's where we also define a decay target to be met over time. How does that work? The decay rate, which we define, gets applied with every evaluation until the decay target is met, unless an update was provided for a product. Then the score is upheld. If a decay was processed on a project, we also assign a status of decayed, so you guys know when a product has been decayed. Yes, Kefar, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to add in here that another thing why the score in the beginning usually is higher is because we try to capture the time frame before the release, because the guild had to put effort in while the product was not scored. So we try to capture this by initially starting off with a higher score. And I lost it. I wanted to say something else too. I forgot. I'll come back to it. Sorry.
All right. Showing another feature here, and I'm removing the filter now. We had a few legacy projects across all guilds, so initiatives or projects that have concluded over time. Those products are still in this table, but they are marked as concluded, or in some cases announced, when they have been initiated but never delivered, for example. So this connect is a great place to look at all the wonderful products and initiatives that you guys are driving. And overall, we are at about 220 contributions across 35 guilds. Yeah, this is a slight teaser. So once we are done, once we're done with this evaluation, we will release or unrestrict the access to this page, and you guys can have a look around. So this module you can find on every guild page. This is now, we received a question, can a product go from decayed, upheld, and how? Yes, of course it can. For example, so it's not naturally that it will go from decayed to upheld, but if a product has been evaluated in the past and the development was discontinued or no updates were made on the product during the last evaluation period, we typically would decay a product, right? But then on the next evaluation, if you happen to update this product and add features to it or continue the initiative, we will read that from the report and of course not decay it any further if we see value in it, but instead uphold it. Kefar, please.
Yeah, the part we see value in it is the most important, because even if a product is updated, does not mean it does not decay because of initial bonuses that were granted, or because a product, even though updated, still loses significance because hype dies out, player numbers dwindle, trading volume dwindles down, whatever. So even if something is updated, it can still decay.
Joseph, please.
Yeah, so the most important metric is not how many hours have you invested in the project of development or how much money, but how many users are actually using it. So I think that's the most important for us. If you can show us that your product went from 100 monthly users to 10,000 monthly users, don't worry about decay, right? It won't be decay. It's valuable for the ecosystem. So that's the most important. I'm saying this because we're getting questions through email about potential new projects. And it seems that most of the questions go around, hey, I want to develop something like that in 3 lines. Can I get points for it? How many points will I get? Right? So don't worry too much about the points, and please build things that are used in the community, that bring value and the users really want to use it.
Right. Thanks for those additions to it. At the end of the call, we will move to the open agenda, and of course, you guys will have the chance to ask all those questions or pick up on that topic. So this is a change that is happening right now. This skills page is not loading for any reason at the moment. But of course, you may notice there are some differences between what we have put on your contributions sheet and what you're contributing, what you're reporting on every evaluation, right? So we want to align it even further, and that's where we have been defining a new submission template, if I can call it so. So what was the issue? We had the reports as individual files in the past. This didn't quite fit our process as a reviewer, nor is it easy to understand for users, right? So we now want to improve the report submissions to make the update even more easy digestible, less error prone, and we want somewhat a unified structure across all guilds. And for that, in the future, we will change the system from individual reports on every evaluation, but we want to keep it in one file so that we can view the differences in the report from the last report. So how will that look like? We put in an example guild report at the bottom of this issue. I took a header which was firstly defined by Taco, where they just put in their general details like website contact, evaluation, the on-chain JSON, or the chains JSON. And then we often get a line or two about what happened last month. So we had an incident with our API. The issue was resolved quickly. We found out that the issue was due to, and so on. So that's where we have a noteworthy section at the top. And then we get into the contributions. And that's where we will all align the contributions listed here with the contributions on your guild's page. So every item on your contribution sheet should then reflect a contribution on the report file. What we expect here is you should describe the progress on this project or initiative. Because it happens a lot, please don't repeat information. Just highlight the updates to the previous report. Include an URL to your project, which makes it much more easy to review. Of course, list the smart contracts that are in use so that we can review on-chain activity, and then ask yourself the question, was anything updated, yes or no? As simple as that, and then also what exactly was updated since the last evaluation report. And what also could help is an argument, a short argument about how this helps WAX, the WAX ecosystem. In most cases, I'll finish the sentence. In most cases, we want, or in all cases, we want to see some metrics and the metrics period. For example, for the last evaluation, the period was something between January 10th and February 27th. And what metrics are relevant? Unique active wallets, TVL in case you are some sort of marketplace or doing anything with the token or so on. On-chain events, like does your DApp utilize an on-chain login action like you can find on Atomic Hub, for example? The engagement time of users is something that we get often reported. Maybe you have some numbers on user retention, and what also is a great metric is to find out if you actively onboarded new users, like you created wallets, how many of those. So that's how a single contribution should be formatted. We got some questions. So we will basically just update there was anything updated and what was updated. Essentially, those two items are what will change over time, right? So the URL to project, the smart contracts in use is nothing that you will need to change month over month, but exactly what was up, if anything was updated, and what exactly was updated. Right. To the new guide, yeah, the chat was just posted, right. Then we often receive some marketing initiatives being highlighted to us, like in the past 30 days, we have posted on social media, and this post was great because it got retweeted X number of times. Or we visited an event to represent WAX at the booth at a venue related to NFTs, Web3, gamify, and so on. So if you do any sort of marketing initiatives, please please report them under the marketing section. What we like to see is a description of the initiative, of course, some URLs, so that we can review the initiative and provide the time period or the point in time where the initiative was done. And then many of you also provide backups. It's often reported as an ecosystem contribution, as a one-liner, like we offer Atomic Assets API backups, Elasticsearch backups. We think this can be presented a little bit more visually appealing. So we add a backup section at the bottom with a simple table of all the backups that currently receive points, and you can then mark them in this metrics so that we can just understand where which updates which backups exactly you are providing, and how this changes over time possibly. And then of course feedback is important, so we want the feedback that you guys are giving us to continue. So we have that at the very end of the report. And that's basically it. What I will suggest now is that we want a unified format for this. So I will programmatically create those initial reports for all the guilds at the moment. Most probably, I will only include the title of the product and not the URLs and that stuff. So you will need to fill this one out, but a general structure and the report file will be submitted, will be added to the repository by us, and that file will then be edited by you guys to report your progress. This is work in progress. We discussed it internally and just went ahead and created this issue. So this will probably change until the 15th. But once the new structure is implemented, we will follow up with a notification to you guys, and you will be able to report into this single file on the next evaluation. Right. So every single line of the contributions table will then be a contribution on this new guild report sheet. The old product sheets, once we are done with this evaluation and we are 100% sure that we carry over all the information, will then be deleted. For you, there's no relevance here, as we did some housekeeping and aligned the contributions sheets with the actual scoring sheet. Any questions so far? Any feedback you want to hand in? No? Okay, great. Then let's move on to the next topic. And this one has been discussed on the occasions between the roundtables, where we are meeting and talking a little bit more about the ecosystem development of WAX marketing initiatives and so on. So we want to kick off a new format where your feedback is discussed on those roundtables with representatives of the WAX team. To make this happen and to yield better results, we have prepared, I'm looking for the link now, we have prepared a marketing survey form. What does it mean? We think that your feedback shall be submitted before we, or your questions, your feedback or your questions shall be submitted before we have those talks, just to prepare everyone that is involved in those talks. and get familiar with your topics, because it often is a question accompanied by, I need to show you a link and I saw it here and there, and then often the person that is part of the discussion is not prepared that well to answer it immediately. Sometimes the question gets lost on track. The feedback doesn't find its way back to the person that originally asked the question. So we want to ensure that the representatives of the WAX team are prepared for such a call. So we have this marketing survey form where you can optionally leave out your name. Your email will not be saved. You can, however, mention your guild and your role in this guild, and then you can just describe your question or the topic you would like to discuss, why you think this topic is important for discussion, what you hope to achieve with this discussion, any particular materials or pre-reads you recommend to better understand your topic or questions. Typically, this is a link to some document or some other tool as a demo, for example. And if you can potentially suggest any ideas or solutions for this topic. Of course, you can also leave some additional feedback for the OIG. So right after the call, we will share this marketing survey form with you, and the call to discuss these questions and get those answers is going to happen maybe once a month. That's a little bit uncertain, but they will happen regularly, and we will reuse this form. I think we can schedule one for next week, Tuesday, which is on the unofficial roundtable. And yeah, that's basically it. You can fill out the form, and I will make sure, or we will make sure that your questions get answered on this marketing call that we are planning to have. This was often requested by you guys, and the unofficial roundtable has become an interesting format where we just brainstorm ideas and talk about things, and where we can openly talk about how we can improve WAX as an ecosystem. And this will probably help to get those answers, right? What do you any feedback for this so far?
I have, I'm not sure if that's in context, but it's in relation to onboarding new projects or something that just expands the user base of WAX community of WAX in general.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, go.
First one or second?
I mean, both at a time won't work, so one after another.
Okay, in combination. Okay, thank you.
So, do you have a question now? Did I understand that correct?
Yeah, I wanted to basically clarify this specific forms of what the difference from the previous workflow of onboarding and how this actually improves the situation was actually onboarding new products and maybe users or something like this. Did you maybe did some questioning or excuse me, polls related to encompassing of different user bases or bringing new user base into WAX? How was it?
Okay, so the mystery of onboarding is solvable, but not that easy, and we are stuck at step one. So I think the guilds have great ideas, the WAX team too, but we lack a platform to discuss and brainstorm those ideas to then ultimately yield the result, which is a better onboarding experience, a better user retention, better marketing initiatives for the WAX ecosystem as a whole. And this is not only marketing related, but oftentimes onboarding is also like has a technical aspect. To just name an example, integration of WAX into MetaMask snaps. So this is a purely technical topic, but would result in a better user onboarding or better user experience overall for non-Antelope native users, for example, right? So what you're talking about is the ultimate goal, but I think this survey form and just the possibility to discuss ideas back and forth between guilds, developers, the WAX team. I think this is the step one and the crucial step which we need to enable to get somewhere. So that's the start.
Thank you. Will you share this form after this meeting?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Artem, yes, please.
Hey, I have a question about kickstarting of guild's project on WAX ecosystem. So it's somehow this form related to that, because I tried to fill in the forms on this page and got answer that for this you will have to contact WAX blockchain directly. It's from Wombat support team. I don't know why Wombat support team answered to this form, which I filled in on this WAX page.
Right. So the typical way to get into that's a good one, and maybe that's not that's not known enough well enough. But the typical way to get into contact with the WAX team for such things is the email partnerships at there it is, partnerships@wax.io, where you could request you could demo or present your tool and request it to be added to the Wax.io homepage, for example, if that is what you're looking for. In general, this partnerships at Wax.io will be picked up by the marketing representatives of WAX, which will then get in touch with you and work out something to promote your projects or help you with marketing your project and so on, and maybe work out some collaborations between projects. That's all well within the scope of the marketing representatives. So those kind of requests belong to partnerships@wax.io.
Thank you.
Include null is asking Artem, this is for you. Which form did you fill from that page? Went to Wombat Atomic Ads?
I filled in probably 2 or 3 forms. One was about showing project banner on WAX Cloud Wallet. I don't know which it was form, because it's some form opens in time form wax.com and one form about wax banner. It's atomic cards was opened atomic cards homepage, and I did not found a link to the specific form. So somewhere on that page, I found a form of feedback. Let me try to find it again.
So what I just did is I visited the link here on the homepage, on the community homepage.
Yes, I Wax wallet banner, get started.
Yeah, this leads to atomicads.io.
Yeah,
where
and
you can...
I wasn't able to log in, and because I don't have him login and password, and I wasn't able to register there.
Okay.
Confusing flow.
Yeah. So I don't know how to register for this one, how to sign up here. Maybe Dimitri from Spielworks can answer that. I'm not 100% sure.
I didn't really get what's the issue with it. Is it not working for application or?
So when I visit Atomic Ads.io, how do I sign up for this?
So you can only log in on this page. I'm not sure. I need to check internally, but I'm assuming that you need to contact us to set up an account for you right now, because there is no self sign in. So there is a contact button on top. So that would be the best. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I opened this form and I created a ticket. It was one form that I filled in, and another form was on type form domain.
You didn't receive a response, or what was the problem?
Yeah, I received a response from Wombat support team that I need to contact Wax blockchain directly, but who is responsible person? No, I understand that I need to contact the partnership wax.io, and I will try it again. But for example, get featured, it's only questions in that form about games and collections. And if I want this be featured with some utility project, it's not correct, because it doesn't have
I see what you
collection.
mean. Okay, that's some useful feedback I would probably include into my request to partnerships@wax.io. So what you're talking about is that the process on this form is centered around games or NFT collections and so on, but you have a utility you want to promote, and the type form doesn't list those options, right?
Yes, and if first link leads to the ads, atomic ads, it must be on specific form. URL must be linked to specific page.
I got it. So what you're just bringing up is a perfect fit for this marketing survey form. So once we have shared it, I would kindly ask you to submit this feedback inside this form for the WAX team. this will surely let them know that the process of getting promoted on WAX is not that easy to understand, and everyone who is involved. And please be thorough in your explanation that you didn't quite get who's responsible, and that should be displayed in some way.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, back to the agenda. We have the marketing survey form, which I just presented. The form will open right after our call. Ideally, you guys have it filled out until Friday evening or whatever. And we will make sure to have a marketing representative on the call with us and get those submitted questions answered. Of course, any sort of feedback for the form belongs to us, WAX governance channel. Just comment on the message then. Any feedback? Any other topics I should bring up on the screen? Anything you guys experienced in the past 2 weeks? Anything you want to share with other guilds? We were planning to have Ross from Eosphere here today to present his newest updates on Heads Up, his software to monitor WAX nodes. Also works with any sort of Antelope node too, Antelope nodes too. If you want to have a slot on the roundtables to present your topics, your projects, your initiatives, please let me know, and I will grant you 3, 4, 5 minutes, and you can demo your project, your tools.
Did you cover RFPs? I think I missed that.
No, I didn't cover it. I didn't cover it yet. So last week we have. Let's get into it then. So we are trying to implement some sort of RFP system on WAX. Main goal is users request features. I want a feature X to be on WAX. Sometimes it's as simple as this, and then you guys may read all the messages across all Telegram channels, but I bet nobody here does. Those feature requests sometimes get lost, but we need a good place to just take notes on those feature requests, document them for developers or you guilds, who then can say, okay, I get the feature, I understand what the user wants, and I'm certain that it's possible to develop and I could do it. This is like the naive proposal phase where we just get requests and we document them and talk about if it's possible to develop, right? But then if it's possible to develop, we often go into the stage of actually requesting the proposal. So in a fashion, how it's done on labs, on WAX Labs, the project is described, the features are described, how it's solvable, which other necessities there are or requirements there are in the proposal. But we, in many cases, lack this was added by Juan, or mentioned by Juan. We often lack a go-to-market strategy, which should be always part of a proposal. Like, we need this feature, and it could enable a user behavior that we want. And we also want to be talking about the product maintenance or the initiative maintenance over time. So this is then the stage of request for proposal. And then we have the third stage. The proposal was made or handed into WAX Labs, and we need some more hard criteria to evaluate proposals and the proposal value. So we are trying to define some parameters for what a proposal should consist of, which is some form of first market research. Who is the target audience? Are there comparable on-chain metrics? Second, the proposal objectives. What does the proposal actually do? Here you can always see that the T key on my keyboard is broken. So that's why I missed the T's. What does the proposal actually do? For example, bringing in new users, bringing in new creators, or enabling more creators and increasing performance, etc. Then another hard criteria we want on those proposals is proposals should generally be released open source. A positive side effect is it yields educative content. The progress on a proposal or a project is not lost if a project is abandoned or the developer doesn't have any more capacities to develop it, or for whatever reason, personal reasons, for example. So if it is open source, any other developer can pick it up and complete it. We want a easy to review progress of proposals, which is naturally which can be done by reviewing commits, contributions on a repository, code contributions, looking at diffs, and so on. And we want to make sure that the product maintenance doesn't hard fail. For example, I developed a product on WAX. I did it a long while ago. It incorporates UAL, but the new standard is just WARFKit, right? So if it's open source, any other developer can do a pull request on the proposal and change from URL to WARFKit, and even can do that as a proposal to enhance another proposal, right? Part of the proposal evaluation is also that we want to see forth an incentive for the WAX ecosystem shall be described. What value does it hold for customers, and how can the value be measured? For example, token burn or daily active users on your dApp, or TVL of a token, for example. What's also part of it, we want to go with some sort of tiers inside proposals where each tier would require more review or more reviewers or a more thorough review process based on some tiers. They are loosely defined here. So if someone has been building a community tool on WAX and he has released it a long time ago, and we had such a proposal asking for honestly only a few dollars just to cover a few coffees, then that's something where we wouldn't need to put in many hours into reviewing a proposal, right? But if something has a bigger size, a proposal with a bigger requirements, more work involved, just a higher proposal price, then we would make sure that those questions here are answered, and the developer has a good plan on how to bring the product to the market, and also has a good plan on how the product can receive maintenance or even become self-sustained, right? So those are a few metrics a few criteria we are trying to establish for those proposals. And we are also looking into changing the decision flow on WAX Labs to even diversify a little more subjective opinions on what holds value and what not. So we were thinking of an initial resolve for all proposals where the community votes until a threshold is met. So the community needs to enable a proposal. Then we have 3 parties with different vote strength to vote on proposals. Possibly, this could possibly be restricted to certain proposal sizes, right? But we would like to see something like 2 or 5 votes on guilds. Like the guilds vote, one guild with 1 vote, a majority or 2/3 or whatever needs to be met. 1/5 of the votes from the OIGs, from the OIG, 1 IG, 1 vote, and 2/5 of the votes then by the WAX team themselves, which is in a fashion of yes or no, right? There's a lot more to it. This document here, this initial document, doesn't really highlight one of the concerns or issues we were talking during those calls, which is you guys often have good ideas, but we poorly manage to get those things done. One motivation is often OIG points. Another one is it's a little too much effort to do it within the OIG budget. And what really is not happening is developers and guilds all together discussing if something is possible, researching stuff to improve situation, to improve things, right? And an open source RFP system, which we will be hosting on GitHub and moderating on GitHub, should bring much more accessibility to labs and the RFP system. Also from outside of the guilds, mainly developers that also want to contribute on the development of WAX but don't know how, or sometimes they have a strong background on other EVM chains and they would know certain things, or they did research in the past, but they don't know that you guys are working on some bridges or stuff, and they can't contribute to your cause, right? If we manage to bring this all onto GitHub, we can start defining what we want next, how we can build it, and when we will build it, and how we will fund it. So those are the 4 main things this RFP system is trying to solve, the main questions. What do we need? How do we build it? And how do we fund it? This is a kickoff. It just started. If you happen to have good feedback or ideas you want to share for an RFP system, feel free to comment on this repository. We will share it after the call on the governance Telegram channel, where it will be open to receive feedback from you guys. Get involved in it. Yeah, essentially start adding what we were talking about in the past weeks on the 5.6 guidelines. We took some notes on product and ecosystem development and how we can improve this situation, or mainly how we can, or in simple terms, how we can contribute to the growth of the chain. And we even had some brainstorming ideas noted. Those ideas, those initiatives, this feedback and possible solutions belong into this repository. So let's start it. Right. Any more feedback on this? It's certainly not easy to achieve, but if we co-work on this and we define an RFP system which aligns with guilds and OIG agenda, I'm pretty sure we will start moving faster. It's all about the process, getting developers involved, getting other guilds involved, sharing ideas and contributing to solving other guilds' problems maybe too. Which is my closing word. We can move into the agenda bingo if any of you guys have feedback, any stories you want to share, any insights. This is the time. Okay, not today. Then let's conclude for today. It was nice having all of you on this call again, and really looking forward to talk to you in 2 weeks. Of course, we will announce the following calls: the unofficial marketing call, the next official roundtable, and somewhere end of the month, we will also have Lucas on here to talk about Q1 and Q2 updates. So have a great day, everyone, and talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.